tonight on the biggest stage of them all, against a bloke he knows so very well, in a game that means so much to both teams.
So the Blues out moments ago, led by Chris Judd. It seems certain, Robert, at some stage tonight that the two will play on each other.
There's no doubt they'll cross paths. The midfielders change, they rotate a lot. There'll be periods when they are matched up against each other. And it's amazing to think Ben Cousins hasn't played AFL football for 18 months. And in fact, the last time he played on the MCG was 2.5 years ago.
What a start to the year. We know it's going to be a big crowd because the footy records are sold out at the MCG.
Well, that never happens, does it? So that's a really good indicator. You can't get a record if you're coming into the ground now. But look, we've been here for about 4 hours. And when we got here, there were thousands of people lined up waiting to get in.
Exciting night, isn't it? For not only football lovers, but sport in general. It's an amazing story.
It is an amazing story, and he looks fit. He's done well in the NAB Cup. He's prepared really well. So let's hope he can get his career and his life back on track. And also the Blues, they've been very bold with their selection of 4 newcomers.
Well, let's have a look at the Blues side, and you're right. 4 first gamers. This might be, unless they play in a grand final some stage in their career, this might be their biggest crowd they ever play in front of.
Well, what a way to start your career. And we're talking about players. Joseph, Chris Johnson on the half-back flank. He did play with Melbourne. Mitch Robinson and Jacobs on the bench. Yeah. Garland also starting on the bench. It'll be interesting to see how Carlton use Jared Waite tonight. Got a feeling he'll play on Richo.
And a new player also for the Tigers, Brown, the young ruckman.
Yes, 205 centimetres tall, only 18 years of age. He can't believe that he's out here, I'm sure about that.
So the build-up is finally over. Now it's down to business. It's Richmond and Carlton at the home of football, the MCG.
Just want to ask you a couple on Chris Judd. Is he the best player you've seen?
I'm not sure if he's the best player I've seen. He is an elite player, you know, and he's just as good a bloke off field as he is on. Yeah, like I think he's still probably got the best footy ahead of him. You know, he's as good a player as I've played with for sure. You know, I'd look forward to challenges in footy, and as a midfielder, there's none bigger than to be playing alongside or next to Chris Judd and for parts of the game to take him.
Well, this time last year, it was all about Judd. He was making his debut with Carlton. This man, his former premiership teammate, his fellow West Coast captain, his fellow Brownlow medalist, Ben Cousins, in 2009, takes the limelight. It is an incredible sequence of events that's led us to this. Luke Darcy, you interviewed Ben 2 days ago at Punt Road.
Yeah,
tension building.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the atmosphere here, Tim, is electric. It's got a grand final-like feel about it. I can't remember a round 1 clash that's had this much spoken about it. And that man on screen is the focus of most of the attention, and you can tell he is pumped and ready to go.
Bryce Gibbs running with Cousins. It would appear in the opening minutes. Scott McLaren sets the 113th season of this competition underway, and Richmond have the footy as they go from right to left. And it was the veteran Nathan Brown up in midfield, and it took Cousins 12 seconds to gain his first possession in his new footballing life. The Tigers take it in the Simmons direction. Moore was down, but so was Cruiser. Moore did well for Richmond. Did very well indeed. Gives to Rains. Brings it inside to Tuck. Tigers regroup. Steady. Now Moore forward to Rains. The build-up considered now. Thornton there for Carlton. But arriving is guess who? It is Richo Man, who can line them up. He's kicked more goals on the MCG than any other footballer. And having received from another son of a former Tiger in Andrew Rains, he'll line up for the first goal of the season. And from 40 metres out, Richo manages to miss.
It's a sensational build-up for Richmond. Richo started on the wing. The matchup that he has got is Jared Waite, which Robert Walls called before the game. He pushed really hard to the goal square. The pass was beautiful, and that's exactly what Richmond want. One-on-one chances for Richo.
Thornton to Eddie Betts. Behind the wing. Now Carlton's turn to build as they head towards the city end. And Russell has it. Southern wing just forward thereof, threading it to Cruiser, looking for the handoff. And eventually finding it. Russell kept coming. Pumps it long. Didn't pump wisely, though. Oh, Simmons. Bad, dangerous miss. Favola arriving. Has 3 of them to beat. He's put 2 of them away. And he's given the Blues a bit of a chance here. Simpson's got it. And this could land for Carlton. Betts is lurking. Foley's got it. Wait kicks the first goal of the season. But 5 of them go to Favola. What a fighting effort that was.
A costly miss from Troy Simmons, an experienced player now, 30 years of age. And Waite has capitalised and kicked the first goal of the match.
Gee, it's a good tackle. It's a good tackle by Fev.
It's a cruncher, wasn't it?
Yeah, he crunched him, and Jared Waite kicked the goal because he chased Richo down that end of the ground.
Cruiser got the tap nicely to Judd. Couldn't get a clear possession. Foley pounces. Quick kick on the left inside 50. Tamlin gets bowled over. Thornton had his best season in 08. Got plenty of the footy, averaging about 17 disposals a game, which is good for a defender. The Blues work it forward, but only as far as Moore. Handballs to Richardson in the midfield. Little chip kick to Simmons, back to Richardson, who doesn't blaze away. He looked for a teammate. Brown attacked it with gusto. Couldn't find a teammate by hand. Now Betts, little inside-out kick. Didn't quite come off. Foley goes hard. So does Murphy. Bodies fly everywhere. Snared by Simpson. Little kick to half forward. No mark. Moore again. Good stuff by Wiggins. Kept the football alive. Simpson has another go at it. Edwards is there for the Tigers. Oh, a clash of heads. Wiggins went in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And it's a Carlton free.
Absolutely desperate, Luke. And I guess the build-up, the players, they are pumped with adrenaline at the moment.
They are. It's a frenzied start, and the kick perhaps reflected it. Titch Edwards, you'll be pleased to see him back in the fray. Robert Walls. Simmons now sweeps to Foley and Delidio, and the Tigers can build. Just too strong for Cousins, but there was a second line there, and another former Eagle in Morton, scrubbing it to Brown. Clever. Can he swing it home from there? Not a bad fist. Didn't get the bounce he needed. Another behind.
Really smart play from Nathan Brown. You could see he protected the space and just patted the ball into an area where he was going to be able to get onto it quicker than anyone else. He has had a sensational summer, that man on screen. As fit as he's been for 5 or 6 years, kicked a lot of goals. Really important for Richmond.
So Johnson brings it back in.
And they'll use Chris Johnson a lot. He's the new player at Carlton from the Melbourne Football Club because he's an excellent left foot kick.
And here's one of the first gamers. Mitch Robinson, already a cult figure at Carlton. The Tassie boy, Tim, make you very happy. One of 2 making their debuts tonight. If only they had a team in the competition. How good would they be?
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Yeah, that'd be outstanding.
As Carlton throw it around. And they switch back to the members' side. To Johnson once again.
And they'll try to get it in Johnson's hands at half-back as much as they can, the Blues.
And this has worked well by Carlton. All of a sudden, Wiggins has got it at half-forward. Got a couple of options. Simpson has been busy. He's within range. He goes with the left. It's going to miss.
You can just tell early on that Richmond have put a lot of work into making sure that that man Troy Simmons gets back in front of Favola. Richo's going to push hard into defence. They don't want bad kick.
Delidio missed McGuan. Robinson with his second kick in the big time. He has done it. Carlton have their second.
There's the mistake from Delidio. Ball players missed the target, couldn't find McGuan, and with just his second touch in the big time, Mitch Robinson has kicked the goal. The 19-year-old from Lauderdale in Tasmania. And it's Carlton with a nice start to this match. They lead 13-2. Richardson again. Strong mark taken by Johnson, who's been impressive early, Rob. Got a bit of the footy.
Been very solid there, Quarters. And just looking at young Aaron Joseph, the first gamer for Carlton, he's running hard into the forward line. His opponent is Ben Cousins, and he's really got on his bike. He's run 100 metres to drag Cousins the length of the ground.
Well, Houlihan's a beautiful kick. He found Favola, but he just couldn't hang on to it. Here's Cousins. Swoops. And his kick's good as he finds White still in defensive 50. Now to the members' side and Tambling. Measures it to half forward. And that's well read by Revolt. Good use. In fact, it's not Revolt. My apologies. It's Morton. Good use of the body. And he's got it too far out to score. About to 75 out. He switches sideways to Simmons. Now the skipper, Newman. And that kicks off target. That's a point.
What a big moment it was for Chris Newman to lead the Tigers out tonight. So much attention on Cousins and Judd. But wearing the famous number 17 for the first time in a proper game, Newman led Richmond out in front of this massive crowd. Carlton work it to an old hand in Richard Hadley. The kick not great, and Cousins is there. And already he's had it 3 or 4 times, and he shows experience and class. And he delivers to Schultz. Maybe just beyond the threshold here, and he knows it, and he does well. And Mitch Morton is a goal kicker.
Sorry, Rob, I was just going to say it's been a very good start for Ben Cousins. He's got his hands on the footy a handful of times. That was a turnover. He looks composed. He looks like he's settled really well, and that's great for the rest of the side to see him get a touch early.
Just chipped the kick, didn't he, to enable his teammate to run onto it. What the Tigers need to do is convert. They've had it in their forward 50 plenty of times.
He's a converter, kicked 2 goals a game last year, and he kicks beautifully here. And Mitch Morton kicks the Tigers first.
Turnovers in AFL football kill you, and Hadley, his kick was a shocker, and Ben Cousins says thanks very much, pops it to Schultz, who in turn pops it to Morton, and the Tigers get their first goal.
Play on.
Here's Gibbs.
Play on, not clear.
Couldn't quite find Judd. Oh, it's a heavy hit on Jackson.
I'm reporting you.
Oh, I don't know if it was worth reporting. He pulled out of it at anything at the end, but anyway, numbers taken, no damage done, we're away. Foley, inside 50, and another strong grab taken by Morton.
Richmond forward line so far, Rob, has been functioning very well. They seem to be getting space. They seem to be getting one-on-one opportunities. Nathan Brown had a sensational chance a little earlier on. Have a look at that incident again from Cade Simpson. I reckon he tried to pull out of it as well.
Yeah, he just pulled out the last moment and no damage done. But you just don't know these days, do you? What's going to happen?
A worry for Brett Ratton is this young fella with the footy, Morton. He's just too good in the air for Chris Johnson at this stage.
For his second.
And they've just made the move, Wolsey. Johnson's come off and Heath Scotland's come onto the ground, so they'll reshuffle down there.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty windy down there, Andy.
It is a bit blowy, Wolsey. There's definitely a factor down here, the breeze, and it's not favouring either end, just swirling around all over the place as it does down here on the Jer.
So after Carlton made the good start, Richmond settling now.
That is a dumb kick in. You do not kick the ball in the area of Matthew Richardson.
Who bombs it? In the Schultz direction. Good spoil Thornton. Schultz fights on. Morton should kick his second. He does, and he puts the Tigers in front. He's the danger man.
The MCG is a magnificent sight tonight, a perfect autumn night. As Carlton got the first 2, and that man for the Tigers, Morton's got the last 2. Richmond 2-4, Carlton 2-1. First match of season 2009. Down went Jacobs. Good kick by Murphy, was lucky. As Russell puts it deep into attack. McGuan split the mark. Has time to recover. Ball falls into the arms of Betts, who snaps a goal and kicks it.
And this is the second mark dropped by Richmond in their defensive 50 without any pressure, and it just kills you. Simmons dropped the first one, and we've seen that one. And as Luke said, Judd coming off, being tagged by Daniel Jackson.
The 2 young ruckmen are out there, Sam Jacobs and Andrew Brown, both playing their first games.
In his back.
They would have thought that, Tim, that you'd have 2 guys debuting in the ruck. It's such a big occasion.
Well, there's another error. Richard Hadley to derive the benefit of a 50-metre penalty to bring him within range and line up for Carlton's 4th.
Brett, mate, you went at him. You should have gone straight out.
Well, there's umpire Donnellan's explanation. And the former Brisbane Premiership player, black armband for the late Ray Garby, 1947 Premiership player who died 10 days ago. Hadley calmly slots the goal. The Blues stretch the lead.
This is the reason for the 50-metre penalty. Delidio ran over the mark. The umpire was right there.
At this centre bounce, you can see Jared Waite, bottom of picture, and Richo about 10 metres from him.
Oh, tucked it well to Foley. McMahon. Again, the Tigers a bit suspect with their skills under pressure. Got a free kick here, though. It's going to Foley.
50 metres, Ryan Houlihan across the mark.
So you can hear the umpire saying there, Ryan Houlihan just creeping across the mark. One thing I've noticed with Richmond, a bit of a change from last year, is they're really trying to play on a bit quicker across half-back. You can see Nathan Brown wants it again, which is a good thing for them. They need to do it more often.
Carlton have got plenty of numbers back in their defensive 50, so short one to Brown. He pops it. That's a clever kick. That's a great kick. And this is the sort of distance you want Matthew Richardson to kick from.
This is why he is such an asset, Nathan Brown, if they can keep him fit. Nathan Foley wanted to give the footy to him. You give the footy to your good kicks. There is a heap of numbers back inside 50. That's his wrong foot, and he's got so much poise.
Never in doubt.
Just good experience there. Bowden, who started his career a year after Richo. Both have been there a long, long time in the mid-90s. Bowden blocking for Richo to be able to get into space to take that mark.
Nathan Brown describing Richo as the Benjamin Button of football. He's ageing in reverse. Turned 34 a week ago today. Took more marks than anyone in the league last year. He's taken 3 already tonight. Here go the Blues. Houlihan will have a couple coming at him. Gibbs there to receive. Goes for Cloak. Difficult position. Bad bounce. Throw in. Not a bad result for the Blues.
Some interesting defensive matchups for Richmond. We've got Kelvin Moore going on Cameron Cloak. Luke McGuan's got the job on Fev. Last year, Will Thursfield did that job really well, so I was a bit surprised that was the matchup, but he started pretty well.
Cruiser, the third man, floating over the top, but no result initially. Robinson getting in after that hard footy. There'll be a ball up. They say at Carlton.
Yeah, Richo, Tim, you can see he just goes everywhere. Kicked that last goal. Now he's down in the defensive 50 for the Tigers.
So Robinson could do anything on a night like this on debut. He's already covered in blood and has 1 goal. Here's Houlihan. Just not quite cleanly to Simpson. Simpson, though, a natural left footer, but puts it out on the full. Tigers ball. Carlton by 3 points. Half the opening term gone.
Mark taken by Brown.
Seen any rolling zones yet, Luke? I reckon Carlton might have half of one out there at the moment. They've got their players all spread out.
Not the full flood, which has been good anyway, Rob.
Not the best option from Brown, and Cruiser takes the mark. Dishes off to Scotland. Now finally coming out with a class is Houlihan. They did that well. Now ball goes inside 50, and here's young Gartlett. Jeff Gartlett has got a chance here for a goal, and this is his first kick in league football. So here we go, joining the not-so-exclusive club these days.
Brilliant story, this, isn't it? Young Garland, he looks like he's about 45 kilos. Look how skinny he is. And the energy that he brings to the team is amazing, apparently.
And the cousin of Buddy Franklin slots the goal.
Beautiful start for Jeffrey Garlett, a young man whose life circumstances left him so vulnerable that anything could have happened, but some good people in Perth and football have come to his rescue, and in front of this massive crowd with his first kick, he's kicked a goal, and the Blues lead by 9 points.
Come on, guys.
And Tim, they say that not only is he a bit of a will-o'-the-wisp around the goals, his defensive pressures up forward are outstanding.
Simmons and Cruiser jostle. Simmons the better of it, or Richo making some high contact.
Make contact with the arm.
Wiggins ball for Carlton. Richo storming back into defence. Judd, just his second disposal. Garlett in front. Got the hands onto it. Was fearless as he went. Edwards now for Richmond. And the Tigers. Robinson laying the tackle. Relishing the tough going.
Hey, that was a good effort by Garlett, Rob, to get in front of that pack, wasn't it?
He did well. He's brave. There's no doubt about that. A good sign for the Blues. They've got 5 goals on the board, and Feb hasn't got any.
Cloak a clean swat, but Brown the takeaway for Richmond. Bowden playing up forward. Jamison wearing him like the proverbial, and Thornton comes away with it to Scotland, and Bauer got himself into trouble. Scotland to wait now as Carlton reset. Just placing it for Cruiser. Murphy to take the crumb. Swing it long, and Favola in good position gets a free. He got himself in the right spot and he got the reward.
This will be his first possession. Brendan Favola, he's had 2 tackles prior to that, but his influence has been very good. Laid a great tackle earlier on in the quarter. And then just the perceived pressure, I reckon, he's brought to the contest. Here he is. Over the shoulder was played against McGuan.
For his 100th goal in his last season and a quarter of football.
Yeah.
First touch of the night, and he hooks it horribly. He was lucky to score, and McGuan lets him know it was a shocker. And the Fev gives up 50, and he needs to just pull his horns in.
Well, that's what you get sometimes, isn't it, from Brendan Favola? You get the brilliant, and then you get the disastrous, but the 50 will really disappoint Brett Ratton. He's a leader at the club. They don't particularly want that in the first game of the year.
McMahon, that's a poor kick. Turnover, and Favola's all by himself on the 50. Oh, went without it. He spent it before he had it, but he's got another opportunity from a long way out. He blazes away. It just plops into the pocket.
I tell you what, 90,000 people are being entertained.
Oh, Garlett did well to keep the ball alive in almost Cyril Rioli fashion. To Wiggins, to Betts. Garlett will have another crack here. They all look at each other. Now Favola goes for it. We'll have a throw in.
Well, there's a bit of everything, isn't there? And you've got Garlett and you've got Eddie Betts down there. I tell you what, if you're a defender, you're going to get tackled pretty quickly.
So Carlton keep attacking. They've got 2 in the ruck contest, and a good man down in Gibbs. Cloak, standing start, miss. And the Blues lead by 11 points. Entertaining opening quarter. A lot of errors made, particularly in the air at that city end. 2 footballs on the ground, so the kick-in is going to be brought back.
Another positive for Carlton is that Chris Judd on screens only had 3 disposals. Daniel Jackson has got the out-and-out tag on him. Can really only afford in modern footy today to have just 1 tag with the amount of rotations, but Jackson will go with Judd for the whole night, and he's done a pretty good job so far.
Newman gets another 20 metres for his team. And kicks to a couple of Tigers. Just a bit too much on the kick for Simmons. But there to mop up his Cousins. To Bowden. Looks for Revolt. Couldn't find him.
Good spoil.
Yep, by Jamison.
Now, there's a stoppage in play. Immediately, Richo bolts forward. And you need an athlete to play on Richo, even though he's the oldest player in the game at 34. Jared Waite is a good selection.
Good hands by Judd to Johnson. That wasn't a great handball. Bowers in there. Did well to get it back to Judd. Handball. Oh, and run down. Advantage Page. Schultz kicks Slews off the side of the boot. And it misses a couple of players there, but there's a whistle on play. That's perhaps a lucky little free kick there to the Blues go to Robinson. He's got the free kick at half back. Off to Thornton. Looking for Gibbs. Doing the roving was Houlihan. Kicks to Cruiser. He's got the sit.
Matty Cruiser needed to take that one, Luke. I thought he let himself down a bit in the middle of the ground when a kick came his way. A little bit of ducking of the head, I thought, which I've never seen before, but he certainly stood firm there. When he dropped that mark about 3 or 4 minutes back, he was taken from the field and probably given a word of encouragement, and he's back on now.
Kick from Houlihan was absolutely superb. It was weighted beautifully for him, and he took it well.
Ryan Houlihan in a better team will be a really good player.
And Cruiser kicks Carlton 6th.
And Fev's been given a rest. Cruiser's gone deep into the forward line, and this is... I've seen 2 Carlton greats kick like that. Mongrels off the boot, but they go straight. One was John Nichols and the other was Stephen Kernahan.
Okay. Peter Hudson wasn't bad at those for Hawthorn either, was he? Newman gives it to Bowden. Betts coming out hard, and now pressures Rains. Bowden, Betts has got him as well, but Rains receives and can set it up now. Took a while, and the kick not great. Play on. Gave Scotland plenty of time to set himself up. He gets to Thornton, who's been very good back there. Running into trouble, Johnson. Richo, no free kick. Cousins there with a chance. Can't break. Well wrapped up by Jamison. Ball up.
Great second effort from Matthew Richardson. Again, the kick that came in from Rains was really to his disadvantage. And have a look at the second effort and chase, and the tackle was great.
No prior opportunity, so the fact that the handball attempt wasn't legitimate was good enough in that there was an attempt. Simpson on his non-preferred side here sits it, and pretty well too for Wiggins.
He's good overhead, Tim, is Wiggins. That's his strength.
Very brave. Cloak has a call from Garlett, who looks dangerous. What can he do from here? Outside 50. Cruiser is there. He shepherded it, and it went through on the wrong side. So another behind the Blues by 18 points, and they've found a good one here in Garlett.
It's Carlton by 3 goals. As Delidio prepares to do the kicking in. Oh, another shocker from the Tigers. Delidio missed the target again. Jackson's under the pump. Good tackle by Favola. And those sort of mistakes at this level are just unforgivable.
Yeah, and it's been a trademark for them, Quarters, for a couple of seasons now, with skill errors at crucial stages. They've fumbled a fair bit also in this first quarter. It's been some of their experienced players. Joel Bowden, Brett Delidio had a fumble earlier on. Very costly.
Free kick against Jacobs for a push in the back.
And young Jacobs has to make sure he doesn't get caught behind at these boundary throw-ins, because experienced ruckman will prop on him and he'll push him in the back like that.
Also a big opportunity for Troy Simmons with a young lad. He's 110 kilos. He should be running him off his feet, Troy Simmons, trying to push forward, trying to get on the scoreboard for Richmond.
Bowden looks for Revolt. That's a good grab. Scrubby old left foot kick. It's a hard one for the forwards. Schultz is there. Thornton stripped of the football. Foley's there. Good tackle by Hadley.
Cousins 4 possessions, Judd 5. All up towards half forward for Richmond. Jacobs, the first gamer against Simmons, almost a veteran. Jacobs, a good win there to Houlihan. Quick to Simpson. Again with the right foot out wide, and again he finds Wiggins, who completed the mark just before rolling over the line. And he has Houlihan storming forward for him, but it's gone out on the full. You can see it written on Ryan Houlihan's face. Tuck's ball for the Tigers.
And Shane Tuck had a terrific second half to the season last year. Won a lot of hard ball, contested possessions. That's probably one of his weaknesses, is the high kick.
Runner-up in the best and fairest last year, Shane Tuck. Hasn't missed a game in 4 years, Rob.
He's really durable. He's tough. He's courageous. A lot of traits of his father.
On the throw-in is Richardson. To Newman. That's an interesting effort from young Brown. Now Wiggins with strength to Waite. Not a lot on offer here. Weaves his way through the pack and kicks into the pocket to Favola. It wasn't a bad kick. Favola wants the free and he's got it for a chopping of the arms.
Just about to say that Luke McGuire's actually started really well on Fev. He hasn't given him a lot of space. He's played in front, been with him every step of the way. But unfortunately for him, he's given away a free kick now.
Well, we know how good he is with his set shots, Brendan Favola. One of the best kicks in the competition. Unusual way he holds the footy, but it's effective. Anyone can thread this one home, it's Favola. And he does it with ease. Magnificent kick.
Love him or hate him, there's more of him to love or hate this year. He looks as though he's bulked up a bit, Brendan Favola, and he wasn't a small man before 2009.
And interesting, Carlton have put Chris Judd to the goal square and not giving him a rest on the bench. He'll get his rest down there deep forward.
Clean knock to Jacobs, but not quite finding the man he wanted.
I reckon we'll see more of that, Luke. I've already heard Mark Thompson, Geelong's coach, say that Gary Ablett, instead of being benched, will go deep forward.
It's a great move, isn't it? If you can keep your best players out on the park, why not do it? Judd one-on-one in the goal square, Gary Ablett one-on-one in the goal square. It's as dangerous as anyone in the game.
It's actually just what they used to do in your era, Rob. Yes. You go forward and have a rest. Now here's Waite for the Blues. And they're dangerous again. They have 7 already. They might have 8. Waite here. They do. Jared Waite done a couple of brilliant things in the last couple of minutes. Carlton have kicked 8 goals in the opening quarter. Waite is the first multiple goal kicker.
And in the last 15 minutes, Carlton have doubled Richmond's possession count.
Well, it's a huge period of the game coming up now for Richmond. They're 30 points down in the first quarter. They've had some skill errors and some turnovers. Carlton have played fantastically well, but this centre bounce is massive in the context of the game. They need to get their hands on it. They need to win a footy out of the middle. And Brendan Favola in the goal square, another great shepherd. If you watch this ball come in, fantastic play. He just cleared the path and made sure McGuan couldn't get near it. So his effort has been superb. Carlton have been great.
And Ben Cousins in picture, lining up at half forward.
Play on, that's a good knock.
There is Cousins. Read it nicely. Got it over to Brown. Kicks one to half forward. Morton's got a couple of goals. Tigers fans scream for the free kick. None forthcoming. Picked up by Johnson. Nice little kick over to Simpson. On that left boot, he goes along the line, but puts it out of bounds on the full.
Simpson finally gets on his left boot, Tim, and he puts it out of bounds.
The free kick to be taken by Rains.
Ben Cousins just copped a shirt front from Fev there. A little bit off the ball. Nothing untoward in it, but just Fev going on with it a bit. Here it is off the screen. You can see, in fact, it was Cameron Cloak. And
that's pretty solid, Luke.
Yeah, probably a bit more in it than I first thought, and a fair way off the footy.
Just welcoming back to the big time. Picked up by Gibbs. Nice kick from a standing start to Favola. Famed for another free kick. Great hands. Ball kick towards goal by Cloak. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. It's not going to make it. McGuan looks like he's run out of puff there.
For quarters, it just shows the value of Chris Judd playing deep in that forward line. Created a goal opportunity there.
I interviewed Nick Stevens at a lunch.
There's that bump again.
Yesterday, and I asked him, did Carlton share the public goodwill towards Ben Cousins on return? His answer was, you got to be kidding. I think it was reflected there.
Rains to Moore. Tigers under pressure. The opening quarter of season 2009. Rains again. Tigers trying to run it out of defence. Good stuff from the Blues to keep it in their forward line. They forced a turnover. Houlihan usually uses it well. Weighs up the options. Kicks to a contest. Cloak from the side almost. Whistle, siren. What a first quarter as Chris Judd has heard off the ball. It's Carlton 8 goals for Richmond 3-4, and Judd in a spot of bother here in the hands of the trainers.
Yes, well, let's have a look here. See if it looks like it was friendly fire
from Eddie Betts.
From Eddie Betts. Well, that's the worst way to get injured, when one of your own teammates cleans you up. But what? And there's Fev. Looks like he's limping a bit. He's got the bruised heel. He's had a mixed bag in that first quarter. I thought his effort's been sensational. Eddie's not feeling all that flash, but boy, what an entertaining quarter. 11 goals in that first term.
A break from the MCG. A few of the Stars a little bit worse for wear after that first term. The Blues lead by 5 goals.
1 week at a time.
2009, and what a spectacular start for the Blues. 8 goals in the first quarter, 8-4, leading Richmond 3-4. Foley leads the possession count with 10 for the Tigers, Simpson with 9 for the Blues. Too many turnovers for the Tigers in that first term. The Powerade running man, Luke Darcy.
Yeah, these are the players that we've got wired up to the GPS for this evening's game. Matt White has covered a total distance of 4 kilometres with a maximum speed up there at 27 kilometres an hour. Daniel Jackson is tagging Chris Judd, and he's travelled about 3.8k, so he'll continue to do that role, you'd think. Ben Cousins on screen, I think he's probably been the player that almost stood out for Richmond the most in the first quarter.
Andrew Marr.
Quarters for a side that's 5 goals up at quarter time. You'd think that they were down the amount of consternation in the Carlton huddle, particularly around Brendan Favola's right heel. They put some extra padding, some extra foam padding in his boot at quarter time. He spent basically the entire quarter time break without the boot on. He's obviously needing a fair bit of assistance to get through this game.
Second term underway. Jacobs still rucking for the Blues against the more experienced Simmons. Murphy to Houlihan to Scotland, and he places it well. Wiggins couldn't quite hang on. Newman, the Richmond skipper, there with him. Wiggins, though, always gives a good account of himself in the physical exchanges. There's a ball up.
And a mark of respect for Simon Wiggins' first quarter, which was sensational. 8 disposals, 4 marks. He's now got Chris Newman, the skipper, for an opponent.
Aaron Joseph, who took Gary Ablett in that second round NAB Cup match, has Ben Cousins and had him for a significant period of the opening quarter. Bounce favouring Jacobs, little underhander, and then he roves it. Judd half a chance, looks recovered from the knock just before quarter time. Another ball up. So Carlton by 30 points. Jackson not giving Judd a millimetre. Tigers not wanting to concede early scores here. Hadley, Murphy from just inside the 50. Favola with 2 against him. That leaves 1 loose. But arriving very hard for Richmond Reigns. Can't rush the behind. I bet he would have done last year. Kick untidy. Bounce favouring Scotland. Carlton dangerous again. Houlihan. Judd just placing it with the left. Favola! Oh, what a brilliant piece of improvisation. And Carlton lead by 6 goals.
Incredible football. Incredible football. The left foot by Judd and the smart soccer kick by Fev. He's happy with it. He knows it's special. Everyone knows it's special. Let's have a look at it again. On the left foot. Oh, that's good.
Got it sweetly.
He did. And if he was feeling a bit crook at quarter time with his heel, he'll be feeling all right now, Luke.
I tell you who'll also be feeling crook. It'll be Terry Wallace in the coach's box for Richmond, because it's another shank kick out of defence. Andrew Rains, there he is. Just continue to turn the footy over, and if you do that, you'll get punished, and that has been what Richmond have done from the start of this game. Fumbled and turned the footy over, and they are getting belted because of it.
Belted to the tune of 6 goals at the moment.
Block, it's a block. Roy Simmons goal kick.
The umpires confused everyone. You can see the players all went the opposite direction. Simmons free.
It's been 21 minutes since the Richmond score, and gee, they're making hard work of it again.
You've got to be impressed with the cut and tackling.
That's something the Tigers have to work on too. They need to lift their rate in that area this year if they're going to make the finals. Murphy, short one out wide. Finds Russell. Stabs it out wide. Now Houlihan, slick hands to Waits, who's already got a couple. It is raining goals for the Blue Baggers.
There's Brett Ratton, but this man Richo, his opponent is Jared Waite, who's kicked 3 goals to this stage of the game. What does Terry Wallace do with Richo?
Got to go to the goal square, Wolsey. That's where he's most dangerous. Jared Waite will be more nervous about him on the full forward line, and they need to get their best players in the midfield. Foley, Cousins, Nathan Brown up there. They've got to start winning some footy and then get an opportunity to Richo one-on-one, because the game is almost going to be blown away. It looks like it's going to happen now, I think. Richo said, I might stay here.
Bemused, he's unhappy. And Terry Wallace looks a little flattened by this.
Yeah, Richo's going forward, and that makes sense because Waite's hot at the moment, so don't let him be hot in Carlton's attacking area. Take him out of the play, and that's exactly what Terry Wallace has told Richo to do.
Adjudged a throw against Cousins. Simpson takes the free. It is all going Carlton's way. Cloak's playing forward with the young Jacobs doing the ruck work. Here's Garlett, 2 against him though. Houlihan lends a hand. McMahon for Richmond. Tigers need some steadiness, and Delidio provides it there. Oh, Foley, another bad fumble. Garlett just about had it off him. Rains, Delidio again. Richmond looking rusty, looking lacking in confidence and polish, and a big win there to Waite as he edges Schultz out, but Tambling arrives, makes it a contest, and then tries to prize it away. Gives Schultz a shot. Now Tuck had to kick without a run up. Richardson's there, and no free kick, and a behind.
Jared Waite hurt. Jared Waite in real trouble, got crunched. See it, he fumble, and bang, he's hit there. Solid hit by Tambling. And Jamison has now run to cover Richo.
Simpson.
Waite coming off.
To the wing and finds Scotland. Keeps it moving. Carlton go back inside 50. Rains with courage. Oof. Now Foley for the Tigers. To McMahon. That's a good kick. There's a loose Richmond player inside 50. And it's Revolt. And he's probably within range here.
Got to go back and kick this one. Quarters, it's what they need. He's capable of making the distance. The Carlton defence just got caught out there with Jared Waite injured and off the ground, and they had a spare man forward, Richmond, but they need this goal.
Revolt from about 47 metres out when he kicks. Just the point.
Courage of Andrew Rains going back with the flight of the football. He had no idea what was coming his way, but he went. Well done.
And again, it's Chris Johnson doing the kick-in duties and finding Hadley. Carlton putting it together very well. Judd becoming more prominent, more influential. And this fellow Wiggins has been good. Thornton, just about the captain of the back line these days, the senior key position hand, and it's Hadley again. Carlton by 40 points. Richmond in big trouble. Hadley takes it wide. Cloak is there. Kept his feet and had a share of the ball for a moment. Brown back on the ball for Richmond. McGuan, Rains. Tigers with good numbers there, and Rains surely was taken high by Robinson. The umpire must have been obscured, and the Tiger fans don't like it.
Terrific call there, Tim. Certainly a free kick. Umpire obscured. Richmond fans weren't.
Tackle count 26-17 in the Blues' favour. That's a glaring statistic in this match. It's a free kick to Richmond. It went off Bryce Gibbs. Jackson kicked it, went off Bryce Gibbs' foot. So it'll come back to Jackson.
Behind you. Go over the other side of the line. Start on the other side of the line. Thanks, mate. Right, keep going. Feed, run out. Move it on. Play on.
Jackson short to Tambling.
Back two. Play on.
There's just nothing working for the Tigers at the moment. Everything is forced. McGuan. Back to McMahon. He gets the ball eventually. Chips inside 50. Not great direction. And it is very messy for the Tigers at the moment. We'll have a throw in, and that look on that man's face just about says it all at the moment.
Inside 50s last 25 minutes. Domination by the Blues.
Cruiser had that to himself. Hadley, Betts, a couple of shares of it for Betts, but it's a free kick to Cousins.
Paid a throw there, and the umpire picked that up well.
Good start from Cousins, but just a little subdued over the last quarter of an hour. Bowden in from the side. At the back, Johnson would have thought about the rush behind in the past. Doesn't matter. Cruiser to Simpson. Good link man for Carlton.
He's got nothing on offer here, Tim.
Had time, though. Needed to buy it. Wiggins up. Went early. Couldn't hang on. Newman in the famous 17. Cousins again for Richmond. They need him to rise. He puts this in a pretty good spot. Oh, Richmond, two of them flew against each other. Schultz kicks the goal. Common errors, but in the end, Jade Schultz has the last laugh.
And Schultz, the goal kicker. You can see they mucked it up there. Joel Bowden and Morton. Schultz stayed down and cleverly angled it on the boot to put it through.
Here's Cousins again.
Last 3 minutes, Cousins has been hot.
Yep, helped set up that last goal. Tambling to Deledio. He kicks it to the 50. And the mark's taken by Morton.
He's a player. They really need to fire. Brett Deledio been very quiet so far.
Morton kicks it to the hot spot. Revolts there. So is Waite. Richardson got the handball out to Foley. Right foot snapper's not going to make the distance. And the mark's taken by Thornton.
Jared Waite back on quarters.
And he goes short and finds Scotland.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Right on it, mate.
Margin 34 Carlton's way. Richmond have got to string a couple together. Cruiser, #1 draft pick 2007, and much expected of him this year. Scotland to Robinson, the first gamer with the very interesting temperament. Cloak Shook the tackler off. It's a Carlton free.
I think it's because Robinson was put out of the contest.
The new rule.
Yeah, the new rule. Robinson got rid of the football and then was taken out of the contest. 50-metre penalty.
And the reason for that is it prevented him from being engaged in the continuation of play. And that had been applied as a kind of professional free kick in recent seasons. So the rule has been changed, and Mitch Robinson is lining them up. He kicked one in the first quarter from just about on the 50. And he's now kicked two, and he's making an impressive start.
Very exciting debut so far for Mitch Robinson. A couple of goals, and Carlton's lead back out to 40.
And Richo's gone to the goal square. Jamison, his opponent. Jared Waite coming in off the wing, playing on Richard Tambling. So here's a contrast in sizes with the two opponents he's had.
Scotland kicks in the Eddie Betts direction, tries to claim the mark. Robinson again just ducked ahead and went for it. Brown to Deledio. Oh, he's coughed it up. He's not having a good night, Brett Deledio. Betts gains 45 metres for his team.
A lot of talk in the Melbourne papers today about Richmond's inability to tackle. Over the last 6 seasons, they've been the worst tackling side in the competition, and tonight again they're getting out tackled 27-20, and it just looks as though there's not a lot of pressure on the Carlton opposition often enough.
Holding the ball. Ball was free. Ball never got pinned at all. Ball was free. Ball was free. Hold it, hand it over. Thanks, right? Play on.
So free kick going the Tigers' way. Deledio to Rains. Oh, another missed target. Now Brown. Back for the Tigers. Now another Brown. Nathan kicks to half forward, but just blazed away, and easy pickings for Thornton. And he goes sideways. And the Blues off and running again. Russell to the wing. Garlett. That's a poor kick. Yep. And it goes straight down the throat of McGuan. Gives it off to Bowden, and we start all over again.
So I wonder if the moment consumed Jeffrey Garlett running down that southern wing on his own in front of 80 or 90,000 at the MCG in his first game.
How good was that? Not only did he intercept Bryce Gibbs, he held the mark. That was just wonderful football. Read it. Now, what's this all about, Luke?
Some sort of set play, you would have think. Prefer him just to get it in there quickly.
Short and wide. I wonder if that was the message. Here's Houlihan back to Scotland. Nowhere to go for him there. Did manage to get rid of it.
Great kick.
And it's clever to Russell, who is within range and misses. The most reliable in front of goal. He misses everything. Richmond's ball.
Plenty of whistles being blown down there.
There's the slips catch from Bryce Gibbs. It was fantastic play. Full stretch.
Players like Russell and Wiggins, as Carlton improves, if they don't improve, they won't be part of the 22. So that's good, because it puts pressure on them to go to another level.
Newman to Rains. Only played the couple of games last year before that terrible knee injury, dislocating the kneecap. And that wasn't the best of options, but it came off in the end. Heart and mouth stuff. But Richmond did have the weight of numbers there. Brown, poor kick again.
Gee, they turned it over a lot, the Tigers.
Like a broken record, don't we? But it just keeps on happening.
You know you're in trouble when the best kick in your team is turning it over as well. It's a real breakdown when that happens.
Waite to Simpson. Favola on the wing. Simpson 13 touches. Equal high for Carlton with Scotland.
Now the rolling zone, Rob, is in full swing. The coach has said we can't afford to get blown out of the water here, so they've got plenty of numbers back. 40 points down is too much. Trying to stop the scoring.
And Carlton trying to pinpoint a pass in the forward 50, not coming off with Heath Scotland. Scotland, it's interesting, the two oldest players for Carlton tonight are Heath Scotland and Fev, who are both 28.
Oh, shocking turnover. Garlett just not quite able to punish Richmond. They'll get off the hook. McMahon able to bob and weave out of trouble.
That would have been game over then. If Garlett kicks that goal, mentally, you just can't come back well.
They're not out of it yet. Oh, Jackson just getting a share of that. And now they are out of it for the time being, at least. Rains to Richardson. Brett Ratton a moment ago showing the heat of the moment. He's under pressure this year in a way that he hasn't been in his brief coaching tenure this year, because the expectation has arrived. Here's White for Richmond, and he hits the target. It's Revolt, who missed from this sort of range a little while ago. This time he has a good target in the corridor, and it's Simmons who is a good kick.
And Simmons has turned it over a bit. He's dropped marks. He certainly needs a goal for his own confidence and his team's. And Cruiser just not tight enough on his direct opponent Simmons there. Just gave him a bit too much space.
You're talking about the Carlton age profile, Rob. Richmond have 6 on their list, 6 core players over 30. Kane Johnson, one of them, not in the team tonight. Simmons is one of them. And not many teams with that profile win premierships. Troy Simmons does kick a goal here, and the Tigers peg one back. Carlton having problems with their board at the moment, and Brett Ratton is becoming a little agitated. That's a scene from a few seconds ago. It's the second time he's been a bit fired up over something that's happening with the board. Not happy with their matchups, perhaps.
The Magnet Man not doing his job.
Tough gig, the Magnet Man in footy.
And the Magnet Man should just shut up and be told.
Hadley to Russell to Garlett. Over the top to Gibbs, who kicks hurriedly towards goal.
Get the feeling,
consequently, just squeezed it home for a point.
He might have gone through a few Magnet Men over the journey.
Yes, it's not an easy job. Like, you've got about 44 magnetic tags there. You can see he's getting a bit frustrated, red in the cheeks. But on match day, the coach is right, even if he's wrong.
Oh, here's another turnover. Scotland not hanging on to the mark. Cloak playing for the free kick, a la Kevin Bartlett a few decades ago, and he comes away with it. And he pokes it to Scotland. Tuck just arriving. Betts getting a hand in there. Newman with him. Betts very good in these situations. He's a terrier. He doesn't concede easily. Thursfield stripped of it. Rains. Richmond can't afford a mistake. They don't make it. Newman. Now Simmons. And now Titch Edwards. Deledio. Newman. And Tambling.
This is Tambling's 4th touch for the game, and it's nowhere near enough.
And it's not a great kick inside 50 either. It makes it difficult for the forwards. Thornton did it nicely to Waite, who's kicked 3 goals in this match. He's the everywhere man tonight. Hadley to Houlihan. Cloak's outnumbered here. Oh, it didn't bother him. He took a beautiful hanger. Play on straight away. Robinson now pops it inside 50. A solid mark taken in defence by Simmons.
Well done, Troy Simmons. He kicked the last goal, had a couple of mistakes tonight, and he's really starting to put his stamp on it. They really need to score. Here we go again. Another turnover.
It is just killing Richmond, this, and their supporters will be tearing their hair out because they've had a decade of it.
Just felt they had a bit of control of play, but that's killed them.
Hadley sold the dummy. Winds up from 60, won't make the distance. Can Cloak take another hanger? Nobody gives away the free kick.
Bit of an arm chop. Wanda Foley, who made such strides a couple of seasons ago. Keep playing now. Houlihan been good. And here's Robinson. Hasn't had too many kicks, but he's kicked 2 goals. Put Gibbs under the pump there. White for Richmond. Rains, one of their better players, been busy down the back. Ample opportunity down the back. Now Edwards, and good vision there. Good placement. Setting up wide on the breakaway. And this should produce something for Richmond. And it does. Schultz can line them up.
Yeah, well played, Matthew White. He got some space on the wing and showed some good composure. Took his time, allowed the forwards to make their lead, and Jay Schultz has got it. Kicks this, they're back to 29 points. If they could get one more again at half-time, as badly as they've played, they'd go in and give themselves a really good chance in the second half.
Well, Carlton's kicked 3 goals in this second quarter, and if this one goes through from Schultz, it's 3 to the Tigers. So you're right, Luke. They're hanging in.
Kicked one a little while ago. That doesn't get close. That's a bad miss. If they went in 4 goals down, they could feel pretty pleased with themselves in a perverse sort of a way. but it's still 34.
Chris Johnson to do the kicking in, left the Demons last year in acrimonious fashion. That'll be interesting when the Blues play the Demons this year. 31 games for Melbourne.
Richmond certainly got that zone set up. They're not going one-on-one at all, the Tigers. They're just covering space.
Another throw in, half forward flank. Tigers into attack. They trail by 34. Here's this cloak hanger. What between two Richmond players. Very nicely done. Tambling fed it out to Jackson. To Cousins. Good tackle.
Jeez, that was a good tackle by the young fella.
Yeah. And it's on behind play too. Jackson's having a bit of a stoush. Looks like it's Hadley. That's finished now. In the meantime, the Blues have the ball. Murphy looking for Favola, who laconically just plucks it out of midair with one hand. And he is within range. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah, he likes it. And the good thing about Fev being this far out, have a look at Robinson slam Cousins into the turf. The good thing about Fev being 55 metres out is that he will kick through the footy. It's a very unusual grip.
2 goals won so far for Brendan Favola. Not this time. Floats across the face. He made the distance all right in the end. But way off target. So it's the Blues still by 34.
Bit over 3 minutes left. And could be an important 3 minutes too.
Yeah, I think if the Tigers can get a goal in the next couple of minutes, Tim, it's absolutely game on.
But there's a listless, lost look about them. Not a good sign. Here's White, who set up Schultz a little while ago. And his kicking's good again here as he gives to Bowden. One of the most experienced of the Richmond group. Delidio. And Morton, who kicked 2 goals to spark the Tigers early. Looked dangerous, but he's been shut down pretty well since then, and he gives it up to Waite. He's been a star. Terry Wallace aging by the moment. And Carlton, perhaps the signal now is a time one. We're in the last 3 minutes.
I reckon they'd be happy just to keep control of the footy and go in at half-time with this comfortable lead.
Bauer, carefully, maybe a bit too carefully, and it's stolen. Not paid to Brown. First hands on it were Kate Simpson's. Revolt, Tambling, couldn't get rid of the tackler. Richo, well done Richo. Unselfish Richo. Schultz over the top, Morton the goal. Tigers pull one back.
So here's the goal of the Tigers. They worked overtime to get it. In the end, a little, what they call Joe the Goose over the top to Morton, who's got 3, and the lead's been cut back from 40 to 28 now in Carlton's favour. So something for the Tigers fans to hang their hat on as we reach half-time, but there's still 2 minutes to go. Bauer looking for Cloak, couldn't do the spectacular on that occasion. Good hands by Newman. Edwards. Now White. Not 15, so Bowden's got to go. Gives it to Brown. He's hemmed in, but that's good vision and good skill. Kicks into the corridor, and Newman will switch high and wide. Betts gets there. Moore stands his ground, and he rings out. Beautifully done. Now on the rebound. Can Carlton make them pay? Scotland goes inside 50 for Bowler, not quite.
Good effort, Newman.
Play on. Newman stabbed his toe as he boots a ball. There's a whistle. It's a free kick advantage paid. It's going to be a Carlton goal. Favola should pop it over the top. Over to Wiggins. Goal.
Really hard, Wiggins. He's tackled well. He's chased. He's contested. So too Eddie Betts. A feature of Carlton's half is the pressure they've applied in their forward line. And it's another Richmond turnover, and in this half Carlton has kicked 10 goals from Tiger turnovers. Their skills are killing them.
Well, here's the man Tiger fans came to see, Ben Cousins, and he shows some of his best there, but Houlihan's in the way, puts a big fist on it, and it's cleverly snared by Bauer. He had the numbers against him. Wait, Cruiser. Good move this by Carlton. This is Aaron Joseph. Another Tasmanian playing his first game. Good delivery. Murphy. Very polished move by Carlton. Cloak has been good. Back to Murphy. Carlton working it beautifully here. Long. Favola on the end of it. Couldn't hang on. Out on the full. Untouched. No. Came off a Richmond boot. Judd's free kick for the Blues. It'll come back.
Gee, I like the speed of Aaron Joseph on debut, Tim. Tasmanian, of course. Really quick.
Geez, they've been rewarded, haven't they, Carlton, for their bravery in picking 4 first gamers. They've all really competed well. Mitch Robinson's actually been sensational. It's a brave move in such a big game. It's good effort from Brett Ratton.
Chris Johnson down, looking stung. Judd using the left, curling it home. He's a champion. And Carlton are back out to a 40-point lead. Heard it suggested that the rise and the ascendancy of Gary Ablett might be a spur to Chris Judd. A midfield battle this year. Who really is number one? Who is the greatest?
Well, it's a good debate, isn't it? Which one is the better player? They're both champions, we know that, and we're privileged to be able to watch them play. But just a little bit of polish there, Tim, from Judd to go on the left boot and hook it round. And they've answered well, Carlton, because the Tigers had come back, and with just a couple of minutes before half-time, they've responded, Carlton, with 2 quick goals.
And again, he stays on in the goal square, Rob, alongside Fev. It's a good move.
I like that, yeah. And look, we want to see our champions on the ground as much as possible.
Yours.
So a couple of handy goals to the Blues in red time. Sees them back out to a 40-point lead. Might be time for one more. No, Richmond manage a stoppage, and that will be it. An exciting opening half for Carlton fans to season 2009. So a break from the MCG in front of a full house. It's Carlton 13-5-83, leading Richmond 6-7-43. The Blues by 40.
To the square, look!
And again, Jared Waite going to opposing. We can see both the bottom of picture there.
So we start the 3rd quarter. Can the Tigers claw their way back?
Play on.
Cruiser got the touch.
Got to get a couple of early ones, Richmond.
Advantage paid, and the Blues are away. Judd. No free kick forthcoming. Also taking a dive there was Robinson. No. Well, one umpire said side, the other umpire said in the back. Oh.
And that's a gift goal now.
Disastrous start for Richmond in the 3rd quarter. He's a feisty young customer, as Mitch Robinson thought he might lose the footy there, but in turn he's got a 50-metre penalty. Another goal for Carlton. It'll be 46 points the difference, and just what the Tigers did not want.
Exactly, and I think Andrew Rains was the culprit there, and just a gift goal to the Blues.
3 goals to Robinson on debut.
And Mitch Robinson in the back, the free kick. It's paid late, and that's why the play goes on there. Andrew Rains not happy. Robinson comes in, but that's where Andrew Rains drags his opponent to the ground. Umpire says 50-metre penalty. Young Mitch Robinson, Luke, he'll be saying, how easy is this league football?
Tough young Tassie boy, and they rate him really highly. Rob, they love the way he attacks the footy, chases and tackles. He's had 4 tackles so far, kicked 3 goals. What a debut for a young man on such a big stage.
Where is Lauderdale, Tim?
Lauderdale's over east of Hobart. It's sort of a far eastern suburb, very watery area.
Judd's been good.
And he is good here, and he places it well for Favola. McGuan up to the task, though, made the spoil. Murphy cool in a crisis. Gartlett receives from Scotland. Clever left foot kick. Robinson's roving here, but he's out-roved by Thursfield. Cloak, though, giving it off, and Cruiser runs it through for a behind. Carlton by 47. It's not the sort of start the Tigers would have wanted after the break.
From the kick in, the mark's taken by Tuck.
Play on! Play on number 15.
Chip to his skipper and Newman.
Well, Tuck and Delidio both single-figure numbers to this stage of the game. Nowhere near good enough for midfielders.
And Richard Tambling, he's only got 6.
Well, there's 3 quarters. Delidio, Tuck and Tambling, who just have to lift to give them any chance.
Jackson just bangs it up and hopes for the best, almost the miracle mark to Richardson. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of structure going up forward for the Tigers. They're just banging it up there and hoping for the best. It's a sign of desperation. Delidio squares it to the hot spot, and that's a good mark. But again, it's just kick and hope, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, but this kid, Jack Riewoldt, I like him. He is courageous, and he will just keep his eyes on the footy. There's Richo, who almost takes the mark. And it goes back quickly with the Delidio hook left foot kick. And I do like Riewoldt. He is courageous. He's fearless. He's raw, but he's going to be a very good player.
Kick just the one behind so far. Shouldn't miss from here. I said shouldn't.
Well, he missed that shot for the game last season against St Kilda. I think I read recently that he said he's looking forward to moments like that in the future. Well, he's got a bit of improving to do because he's missed twice from set shots tonight, and that one was a relative sitter. Johnson doing just about all the kicking in tonight, and this time he gets it wrong.
3 goes.
Tigers free kick.
Play on.
They need a goal. Delidio gets himself into a hole. Foley not really effective tonight. And the Tigers just working it around for now. Richardson too far out to score. He'll try and cut the distance. Richo, magnificent. Oh, yes. And it finishes with a touch of Richardsonian tragedy as it fades and hits the post.
2 posters for Richo. Oh, did everything but go through. Cruiser to Simpson. Now Murphy as the Blues work it forward with a chain of handballs. Scotland, Gibbs.
Mine.
Kicks in the cloak direction, but getting back. It's Matthew Richardson. Now Foley restarts things for the Tigers. His kicking's being poor tonight. Didn't quite hit the target, and Tambling. Play on's the call. Carlton get it back. Another lost opportunity for Richmond. Hatley fed it out to Scotland.
Scotland's been pretty good quarters. He's missed a lot of the pre-season, but very experienced player to have across half-back.
Murphy, he's got Joseph riding shotgun, trying to lay the shepherd. And it works out in the end for Carlton. He pumps it long. 3-on-1 here. Favola outnumbered, and well, it's a mark free kick, whatever you like. Richardson's got it.
He's getting frustrated, Fev.
Oh, he kicks. Danger here. Simmons couldn't take the mark. Robinson snapping at his heels, did well. He's all wrapped up. He still won't give up, Robinson. He's a beauty.
He is an absolute beauty, Quarters. Just going to have a look.
That looked like a magnificent goal. All the way.
Hit the post, Richo.
Watch out, bounce. Watch out behind you, too.
Only Richo could do it.
Play on, knock.
Carlton attacking.
Play on side. Play on.
Robinson getting better as this game wears on. They say at Carlton they expected Robinson to go in the top 10 of the draft. They got him at 40. They didn't have a second round pick because they took Warnock from Fremantle with that pick. Here's Judd, and Judd drives it home for his second of the night. Carlton are massacring Richmond.
And Cameron Cloak with the hit out, and Judd just burst through a very insipid tackle. But there's Robinson, first gamer. Garlett's in the forward line at the moment. Jacobs doing the ruck work. That's his first game for the Blues. And you've got to take your hat off to Carlton, giving these youngsters opportunity on such a big stage. The temptation would have been to play older players with a bit of experience, but they've gone for the blokes who've played well in the pre-season, and I think that's fantastic coaching.
And Robinson's had 5 tackles in the match too, which is a game high.
Play on.
Gibbs, a little soccer off the ground, back inside Carlton's attacking 50. Here's Favola. Didn't quite keep it. in play, so throw it in Carlton's forward pocket. They lead by a whopping 51.
Commitment from both players there, Wolves. I want to ask you, Chris Judd's getting tagged by Daniel Jackson. He's absolutely destroying him, kicking goals, 16 disposals. Is it time just to give someone else a go? The tag's not working. Why not put Delidio on him?
Yep.
Give one of your young guns a chance. Is that what you do?
Oh, I think it's a good call because Delidio's struggling. Takes a bit of the heat off Delidio, who's being tagged himself.
Wiggins shoots at goal and kicks a point.
And just produces a fresh challenge for a player like Delidio or a Tuck. Neither of them have had a good first half. And, yeah, moves need to be made. You're 50 points behind, and you've just got to throw caution to the wind now. I think the Richmond supporters will be absolutely frustrated at the skill level that they've witnessed from their team thus far.
That's the way, mate.
Newman going long, and McGuan doesn't let him down. That was a nice mark. Third in line. 2 or 3 minutes before half-time. The Tigers were still close enough, but really the die's cast now, and they almost have to play for recovery in next week. Here's a chance for a score. They should get one. Morton knows how to kick a goal. In fact, he's kicked 4 for the night.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, 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 let it shine. It's the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's the light of mine.
NAB AFL Auskick, helping kids' potential to shine.
Mitch Morton started his career with West Coast, playing 12 games, has moved to the Tigers, kicked 35 goals last year.
I think
Mitch
Morton, Quarters and Jack Riewoldt give them something to work with up forward. You know, we saw Richo go to the wing, play pretty much on the wing and pushing forward last year.
Just throw it away in the end.
And the Tigers have to persevere with these young fellas up forward. You know, Richo obviously at 34, he's not going to be there much longer.
Free kick going to Jacobs. And the ball ends up in the arms of Russell.
You love the ball being in the hands of Bryce Gibbs because 9 times out of 10 he puts it down the throat of a teammate.
So the Blues looking to switch here. Jamison thought about it and then decided to go straight down the corridor. Direct play and a penetrating kick. Oh, what about that? Wiggins.
I'm not going to be happy until he kicks the goal. And that's what he's got to do, because he's one of those players who excites you. He's played over 100 games for Carlton. He's been there for a long while, and that's brilliant. But he's got to kick the goal. He's got to finish off.
Been pretty handy, Rob. He's had 14 disposals, 7 marks. I know where you're coming from. He needs to finish it, but I reckon he's a really solid player for them. His teammates love the way he works and he goes about it. Haven't seen him do that too often, but he has been very, very effective tonight. And he was last year as well.
Soared above 3 Tigers. Landed heavily. Can he finish it off with a goal?
Went as high as his wife, diving champion,
Yes.
Ludi Torquay. Landed a little more roughly.
So directly in front. 40 out.
I'll say no more.
Gee, it was a nice grab, though.
He really improved last year, Simon Wiggins, and they obviously like him at Carlton. He is a very wholehearted footballer.
He's the sort of player that I reckon teammates like playing with. You know exactly what you get from him week in, week out.
I'd love to see him finish better. Big fist from Jacobs.
Yeah, and that's okay, Tim. Just do the basics for a big fella in your first game. No heroics. Got to make sure he doesn't get caught behind at these boundary throw-ins.
See who Chris Judd had helping him out there on the boundary. None other than dual Brownlow medalist Robert Harvey. There's Gibbs prizing it out of nowhere for the Blues. And almost collected again by Wiggins. He's got good hands. Be a ball up. So middle stages of the third term, the Tigers making no impression. Carlton lead by 47 points. They haven't had to be brilliant to do it. It's been a disappointing night so far for Richmond fans. Coming along with hope so high because of this man Cousins returning to league football, but he's given it up here. Wiggins, Cruiser, ran into a wall. That's Brown, the first gamer, the ruckman, 18-year-old giant. White. Tigers eventually bring it away. Tuck to a one-on-one, and Johnson shunted Revolt under it. And the Tiger man takes the free and wants 50. Doesn't get it. Player with a bit of personality. Oh, Carlton, who's a player with a bit of stealth and speed. But Revolt gets it back. McMahon, Rains. Nice scything ball. Well done, Jamison. Improving defender. They like him at Carlton. Wait to Scotland. Dangerous transition here. Eddie Betts is lurking, and Eddie's running towards an open goal and driving it home. They love him too.
Bunnings. I can't think of anything else. Gardening, plumbing, painting, barbecuing, leisure, whatever.
Everything you need at the lowest prices.
30 litre potting mix, only $7.34. Tripod work light, $38.50. 450 watt hedge trimmer, $49.90. 73-piece tool set, $24.89. Paint roller kit, just $4.37.
You name it and we've got it.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Tigers fans deep in thought.
Hope he wasn't pondering jumping.
He's pondering what could be a long year.
What's this? The Carlton president in the coach's box.
It's usually bad news for the coach, isn't it?
It is. It is. He shows he's got his full backing of the coach and sacks him a couple of weeks later. But they're a tight group at Carlton at the moment, Tim.
Well, he's one president you can allow to be in the box. I think he's had enough experience to perhaps be able to sit in the box. Stephen Kernahan, one of the all-time greats of the Blues. Bowden to Richardson, who plays on. Oh, missed the target. He was tambling. Here's Russell. Got it to Hadley. And the Blues out of danger. Johnson kicks to Wiggins. Short one to Cruiser. Carlton in total control of this match. They're in front by 53.
Move on, play on. Daff, yours.
Cruiser back to Thornton, who'll switch to the southern stand side. Another possession for Russell. Over to Bauer, sweeps it to Waite. On the right, then gets back on the left. Shrugs off McMahon too easily. Waite into the pocket. Ball still alive. Favola's there. Now the handball comes to Betts. It's a spectacular handball. Magnificent teamwork, Carlton. They can't do a thing wrong.
Imagine how much you'd save if you could qualify for official Gold Fleet discounts that a big business with a fleet of 100 usually qualifies for. Now you can during Toyotathon, but only until March 31. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
With the right tools and advice, relax and do it leisurely. Do it Stratco. Fence sheets from only $13.95 and no deposit with nothing to pay for 600 days on Stratco Gable Home Sheds. Do it leisurely, do it Stratco. Do it now.
You will not see a better handball than the one that Mark Murphy delivers to Eddie Betts.
I missed him.
We'll get back and have a look at it shortly, but the umpire beats us with the centre bounce. Tuck, no way out. Wall up. Carlton by 59 points beyond the halfway point of the third quarter. Cousins having a rest.
Nine disposals, Tim.
We've got bad news and bad news if you're a Tiger fan. Next week it's Geelong at Skills Stadium. The week after that it's the Bulldogs.
Jared Waite put the smother on. He's red hot at the moment.
Kicked 3 goals running forward. Carlton in total control, and there'll be a ball up. There's Mark Murphy, the architect there. Perfect weight on the hand pass. Enabled Betts to accelerate onto the ball and weave a passage and kick his second goal of the quarter. 59 points. New opponent for Judd, Nathan Foley. As called by Luke Darcy a little while ago. Here's Richo giving it his all as ever and doing it well. To White, escaping and delivering for Revolt. And surely he'll kick this one from 30 out directly in front.
Just half a yard back, that's it there. You know,
Been a rarity for tonight for Richmond to see a well-executed pass that's waited for the forward. Been a lot of skill error tonight for them, a lot of fumbles. Matthew White this time had time and space. He kicked it beautifully, and Jack Revolt would love to see a few more of them.
Third time lucky for Jack. Yes, it is. Alas, a lot of damage had been done before he nailed it.
It's bonus time at Harvey Norman. Panasonic Full HD 1080p Plasma TV, 42 inches of spectacular viewing, only $21.99. With bonus Blu-ray player valued at $495. With extra wide loading to take whole veggies and fruit, you'll love Breville's Juice Fountain Plus, only $199 with bonus juicer. And Whirlpool's 7.5 kg front load washer will save water and money for just $797. Plus, you get bonus 1-year supply of Omo washing powder. And there's much more in store. Bonus time at Harvey Norman now.
Of course, a big fuss about Chris Judd and Ben Cousins, who both captained the same club and then went to other pastures. Not the first time this has happened, Robert Walls. Round 7, 1980. A couple of former Carlton captains, Alex Jesselenko and Robert Walls, as St Kilda played Fitzroy. Do you remember that? Was there a lot of ballyhoo about it?
Not as much as this game, Tim.
Handball.
Tambling, handballs to no one in particular.
He handballed to the umpire.
Yes.
He actually did.
There's a high tackle there. On the bottom of all that is Edwards, I think. White's got the advantage, and he spots up Richardson in the pocket.
Matty White 3 times tonight. He's been able to hit a player inside the forward 50. That's a great asset to have. Well done to the young Tiger.
Matthew Richardson, tough shot. He's got 1 goal, 2 tonight. Both behinds have been posters. That won't even make the distance. Carlton by 53. Revolt up in the ruck against Jacobs.
9. Up again. Thank you. Come on, arms out.
So a bounce.
Straight up. Watch that, Bryce. What's behind?
Again, it's Revolt in the ruck. Here's Morton, who's got 4. It's a high ball. It won't make the distance. And then it just bounced back into the goal square. They can't rush it through. He's caught here, Jacobs, and the umpire will say play on. Gave him plenty of latitude there, and the Blues out of trouble. Richardson missed the mark. It was a tough one. Robinson banks. Handballs to himself in the end. Gives it off to Houlihan. Exciting stuff from the Blues. Bauer back to Houlihan once more. Gives out the handball to Simpson, who kicks to Garlett, and he takes the mark. Everything has worked for Carlton tonight. Garlett pumps it, looking for Favola. He's got to beat a couple. And it's through for a behind. We said at the start of the game, Rob, it was a brave decision by Carlton to play 4 debutants.
Yep.
And a lot of us changed our tips because of that. But
yes,
gee, it's paid handsome dividends, hasn't it?
Yes, well, I know I certainly didn't, but I'm afraid you did. You have little faith, Quarters.
4 debutants and Chris Johnson playing his first game for the club. Last time Carlton had 5 club first gamers in the opening round of a season was 1984 against North Melbourne at Waverley. They won by 137 points. Morton, oh yes, beautifully judged mark, springing his heels, and he has been a real ray of hope for Richmond with a 4-goal performance and perhaps more to come.
Well, I would think if you're a Richmond supporter, Morton's performance tonight and Jack Revolt, even though Revolt hasn't kicked accurately, certainly very encouraging, and they will persevere with these 2 youngsters.
His best 7-goal hauls in his career have come in his last 11 matches. His career best is 5. lining up for his 5th. There was a wonky old approach and a wonkier kick as he overcorrected. And it's going to be thrown in. Disappointing result there for Mitch Morton. One of 3 brothers, senior lists. All come from the West and are playing in Melbourne now. Good steal by Brown, but Murphy got him, doing good things. And hand pass not necessarily one of them. But Gibbs prizes it out again. Cloak, big strong body, and he's put it in good places tonight. Had a kick in the pants in a practice match earlier in the season, but if anything, it's done him good. Here's Johnson. And he controls the kick beautifully to Betts.
Nice hands from Eddie Betts.
And Eddie says slow it down. There's only 4.5 minutes to go.
Also a bit of a zone going there. You can see down the ground. Look at the Richmond numbers that have set up. They did that on that centre, that boundary throw inside 50. And they've got a few numbers back, so they have to be precise with the footy, Carlton. But seem to have summed the game up really well tonight.
And while they've slowed it down this last 20 or 30 seconds, they've made the ruck change. Jacobs off, who's done a pretty good job. Cruiser back on.
It's Cameron Cloak. I like what he brings to the Carlton attack. He's not a prolific winner of possession, but he competes hard. He can go into the ruck and compete well there, and he's a really good asset. With Cruiser, the young gun, he just provides that extra hard body.
Look at the tackle count, 58-39, and Hadley in this quarter has had 7 tackles for the Blues.
Richo dropping back there. We talk about the tackles quarters and Carlton dominating there, but how's this for a statistic? In Carlton's forward 50, they've laid 14 tackles. Richmond has laid 1 tackle in its own forward 50.
Lovely kick from Cousins, finds Jackson. Beautiful use of the football. And Jackson kicks to Morton. Too far out to score. No one in the goal square. Looks for Edwards. That's a big ask up against Cruiser. He just smashes it away. Russell backed himself. Got the handball out to Cruiser. Bowled over was Robinson. That won't bother him. Looks like he likes a scrap. And a bounce half forward line. Tigers into attack.
I think you're right, Luke. I think Cameron Cloak's been really good for Carlton. He's hard, he's aggressive, he's courageous, and he just brings the ball to ground with strong contests. And with players like Betts and Garlett around him, they'll love to play with the big fella.
Cousins got it to Simmons, who had the ball ripped out of his arms, and there's Judd to mop up for Carlton. Kicks to Houlihan, who spills it. Now White wins it back for Richmond. Gives it to Foley. Oh, kicks okay. And finds Newman. To McMahon, who's been very quiet. Finds Moore. He's got Richardson on. He ignores him. Gives it off to Thursfield, who finds Revolts.
Check his distance here, Tim. This is about the distance he had at Telstra Dome last year, where he just missed winning the game.
He looks for Morton again. He's spoilt by Johnson. Ball still alive. Morton's got it. Got the handball out. Here's an opportunity for White.
Unselfish and clever by Morton. He's going to be a good player.
Richmond forward setup at times has actually looked like it's going to function really well. Morton's probably been their best player. Revolt, when he's had reasonable delivery, presents well on the lead. Richardson has been involved as always. But the problem is the amount of bad delivery that comes in. It just doesn't give the Richmond forwards a chance. And then, as you said before, Rob, they have only laid 1 tackle inside 50. Carlton are setting up all their attack from there.
Thought putting a teammate under the pump and then getting his own back. But Carlton control it, and Gibbs kicks to Garlett. The lightly built youngster from Swan Districts. Goal with his first kick in league football. And he's got something. He's got a nice kick here. It falls into the hands of Cloak. Really promising performance. And yes, with he and Cruiser capable of going forward, they can provide some extra body and height around Favola. Gibbs, Robinson. And
Matthew Cruz has pushed really hard forward here, Tim, from the ruck, and he's calling for the ball long. And now Troy Simmons goes and picks him up, but he's in pretty good position here.
He's got 3 or 4 against him. One of them, Richardson. Eddie Betts has kicked his third of the quarter as he just snared the drop and pops it through. And Carlton's lead is out to almost 10 goals.
It's a fantastic sign for a young ruckman in Matthew Cruiser. He's worked really hard in defence and he pushed for this footy. He ran about 100 metres. His opponent didn't want to go all the way with him. And there he was in the goal square. Didn't mark it, but he's created an opportunity, and that is why he will be a very good player, Matthew Cruiser. He can run, he can defend, and he can also win the hit out at the centre square bounce. He's going to be the complete package at some stage.
Jeff Garlett having to get out of the way of Betts' kick to ensure that it went through untouched. It's been said to me that Betts might have opened Carlton's eyes to the possibility of brilliant indigenous skills around goal, and Garlett is a very interesting recruitment choice, and it might have come partly because of Eddie Betts' influence.
Didn't push him forward. Thanks, guys.
Leading possession getters in the game for Carlton, 22 to Scotland, 20 to Gibbs. For the Tigers, 26 to Foley and 20 to Rains. Cruiser the tap. Cousins couldn't snare it. Picked up by Simmons to Richardson. Newman back to Richo. Waits for the run of Bowden. Decides to have a bounce himself, Matthew Richardson. And kicks back into the corridor. And mark is taken by McGuan.
He's been pretty solid for him tonight, Luke McGuan, on Brendan Favola. Been with him every step of the way and worked hard.
His kick finds Tuck.
Thanks, mate. Tuck. That's the line, Mark's right there.
He's got 16 disposals tonight, and there's the siren for three-quarter time.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
So Tuck's kick is going to fall short. Three-quarter time. It's Carlton by 59 points, 18-9 to 8-10. It has been a smashing.
Well, Eddie Betts came alive in that third quarter, kicking 3 goals for the Carlton team, but it's their little blokes up forward, and I've called Robinson a little bloke. He's certainly not big and heavy, and the other player there, Garlett, they just lock the ball in and tackle so well when the ball hits the deck.
The 2009 Formula One IMG Australian Grand Prix. The F1 Elite battle it out against our own Mark Webber. New rules, new design, promising the closest season ever. Plus, Holden versus Ford, the rivalry continues. The most extensive coverage ever. Friday practice, Saturday qualifying, and Sunday, the main event live. Your Grand Prix begins Friday live on One.
We've created a couple of monsters, the Monster and Monster Junior, both with double beef, melting cheese, bacon, barbecue sauce and crisp fresh salad. With the same great taste, it's hard to tell them apart. The Monster and Monster Junior, because a monster hunger comes in more than one size.
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
This is Steph, and she'll be buying the freshest and best ingredients for your meal. You come to Cafe Primo, and we'll do the rest. For Primo quality, Primo price, and no shopping, come to Cafe Primo.
Pretty good, eh?
Going away this Easter? Go to Repco. Jensen 7-inch DVD system, $3.89. A range of roller roof boxes from just $1.49.
That's awesome.
Get into Repco. We know what moves you.
Keeping up with technology can be hard, but when you've been talking technology for 40 years, it's easy. So who can you trust to keep you up to speed? Dick Smith. We can help you with the latest audio essentials from Logitech. Experience surround sound like never before with these speakers for only $94. That's over 50% off. And this iPod dock with digital AM/FM radio and motion sensing snooze, only $127. So talk to the people who've been talking technology for 40 years. Dick Smith. Talk to the Techsperts.
The Volkswagen Jetta can be yours. from just $32,990 drive away.
These are just some of the delicious new meals on our menu. For Primo quality, Primo price, and great new meals to choose from, come to Cafe Primo.
Pretty good, eh?
Dehydration makes you feel sluggish, lowers your concentration and makes it hard to focus. With only a quarter of the game to go, having fluids such as Powerade Isotonic can help prevent this. Powerade, the power to reach your goal.
One's telecast of the 2009 Toyota AFL Premiership season brought to you by Toyota. Get fantastic value across the 08 range during Toyotathon. Oh, what a filling Toyota. Stratco. You'll save time and money when you do it right the first time, so do it Stratco. The SA team at Radio Rentals, saving South Australia since 1958. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. The Whopper, official burger of the AFL. Amy, lucky you're with Amy.
Monday nights from 7:30, footy's newest, freshest rap show.
Can't wait for Monday night. I'll see you on 1 week at a time.
1 week at a time, only on One.
Chris Judd tonight, 18 disposals, 2 goals, and the Blues lead by 59 points. What a smashing it is at the moment. 18-9 to 8-10. Bets 4 for Carlton, 3 in that quarter. Morton's been the shining light for the Tigers with 4 out of 8. So we have a look at the Powerade performance gauge, Luke Darcy.
Yeah, and we take a look at Aaron Joseph, one of the 4 debutants for Carlton. He's been playing on Nathan Brown when he's gone forward, spent some time on Ben Cousins. That's fair amount of ground to cover in his time on the ground, 10.8 kilometres. Matt White's been one of their better players, and Ben Cousins might have a bit of an issue, Quarters.
Yeah, it's either a hamstring or a knee problem. Andy Marr.
Late in that third quarter, he started to flex behind the knee. You can see him there. We wonder whether it might have been low in the left hamstring, and we know that he's had hamstring problems. It's been one of the things that dogged him last year, of course, and late in his career at the West Coast Eagles. They tested the back of the hamstring low down. They isolated it behind the left knee. They worked on that at three-quarter time. He's not going to start the final quarter. You saw him doing some warm-ups along the boundary lines here. So he still will start the final quarter on the bench. Doesn't appear to be too big of an issue at this stage for Ben Cousins, but there's certainly something there late in the third quarter.
And the last game Ben Cousins played for West Coast, we remember he ripped the hamstring completely in that final over in Adelaide.
Just over 18 months to go.
Yeah, and that's always been a worry, that having so long out of the game and at 30 years of age, that he was susceptible to tears.
Carlton take a 59-point lead into the last quarter. Richmond going around in circles after winning possession. Carlton stripping of the ball. Simpson to Garlett to Murphy. And he's normally a canny placer of the footy. And Gibbs gets a free kick.
Gee, they go to Gibbs a lot in the corridor, and he uses it so well.
Gets rid of it quickly, just didn't get the depth in the kick. And Simmons chops it off. Gives to McGuan, who goes to a 1-on-3, or Houlihan could have marked that. Uncontested.
I wonder, Rob, first game of the year, they're down by 10 goals at three-quarter time. Put your coach's hat on. What sort of message do you think Terry Wallace would give his charges at three-quarter time?
Look, number one, let's see if we can win the quarter, because I don't think they've won any of the first 3. It'd be to tackle until that final siren and just show your supporters that you are willing yourself to be involved in the contest. And well, you can ask them to be skillful, but they've just turned the ball over repeatedly. And I always thought, with the publicity surrounding this game, that for the winning team it was worth about 8 points. It was just going to be a massive win. The losing team was really going to do it hard, but to lose by a big margin, and also it's a Thursday night, they're going to have to live with this for about 8 or 9 days before they play again, and it's going to hurt Richmond.
Cousins warming up, so it looks like he might have another crack, which is a good sign. And the mark is taken by Delidio, and he's off straight away. Kicks to Schultz.
Come back, please. Thanks, mate.
So Jay Schultz gets the hurry up. Kicks along the line without much conviction. Morton won the footy well. Well played. Tigers go back into the corridor, and it's a hold, and it's a free kick going to Simmons.
Had a bit of a mixed night, Troy Simmons. Pushed young Sam Jacobs there forward, made him play the defensive role, which the big young man won't be all that comfortable in. He's worked pretty hard, Simmons, but like his teammates, we've said it a couple of times, he's fumbled a few, he's turned the footy over a few times, done some good things, but in the hit-out section, they've been well beaten. It's a 35-15 down, so he probably hasn't got his hand on the footy all that much.
Directly in front, 30 metres out. Kick one goal in the second quarter. Young Jacobs lets him know about the miss, which is a good sign. Terry Wallace.
I think young Jacobs would be better off just to shut up and just try to win a possession. It's his first game.
He's had 4 of them. He's had 4 possessions.
Yeah, well, that's okay, but yeah, don't get too cheeky too early, Quarters.
Play on. You now, mate. Right there, Nathan.
What an awful night this is for the Tigers. Anything that can go wrong is going wrong. Murphy said that. He plays for Carlton.
Illegal block. What was that? Nathan Brown's free kick.
Nathan Brown
more than 5 metres away, mate.
tended to.
It was against Simon Wiggins, Tim. He was more than 5 metres off the footy, and an illegal block, you could hear the umpire say.
So Brown's ball on the wing, and he gives to Tambling, who's had a very quiet night. Just wonder whether Richmond have come into this game almost exhausted by all the attention that the club has received over recent months. Simpson, a fine mark, circumvents them here.
And Tim, I think their coach Terry Wallace would be gutted by what he's seen tonight. High expectations all summer. The membership's grown. They've had cameras there every training session. Massive build up to this match. And to see his team turn the ball over repeatedly. Carlton's been able to kick 11 goals from Richmond turnovers. Their tackle count is well down, and players dropping marks. It started with Simmons dropping that sitter of a mark in the defensive 50 in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it just sets the rot sets in. The coach will be devastated. The coach is under the pump because it's his 5th year. If they don't make the finals, well, he won't be there. He knows that.
Oh dear, the Tigers had the ball and did everything they could to give it back to Carlton, and Murphy punishes them brutally with a brilliant goal. And even the Hawthorn supporters are cheering.
Pressure that they've applied inside 50, and take your hat off to Brendan Favola. I'm convinced there he is again, laying a strong tackle. Convinced he's not right. He's come into it with a bruised heel, they tell us. Definitely had some pain-killing injections. Hasn't scored a heap of goals. He's kicked a couple, but he's worked really hard, done the small things, and set up his teammates, which is a fantastic effort.
Shades of Peter Bazzasto there, the steal off the boot and the brilliant goal.
And some people think the major fault in Mark Murphy's game is his kicking. We'll cop that.
Play on. Nine, mate.
Chris Judd puts Carlton back inside attacking 50. And that's a heavy collision, and it's going to be a free kick going Carlton's way. It's against Newman.
Thanks, Chris.
And Wiggins has copped a couple around the scone tonight. Won't bother him. Took a spectacular mark in the 3rd quarter.
Stay out, Jack. Stay out, Jack. 2 more metres. Follow him then.
So he'll be kicking from pretty much right on the 50-metre arc. It's going to fall a bit short. In front was Cloak. And Delidio comes over the football, gives it to Cousins. Good to see him back out on the ground.
He's in trouble, Cousins.
Oh, he's gone, boys.
He's in trouble.
Greg Cousins looks like he has pinged the hamstring. As soon as he got rid of the ball, he knew he was in trouble. And this is a very disappointing end to the night for the Tigers.
Oh, he can't believe it. He is absolutely livid. He's about 10 metres away from me and absolutely gutted, Ben Cousins.
Can you understand why he would go out, Andy? I mean, if there's any doubt, it's a long season. He was getting it, treated it three-quarter time, he was saying to the doctor, I'm in strife. Why was he back out in the ground? It's hard to understand.
Oh, it's a really good question. He had a long conversation with the medicos down here on the interchange bench at the start of the quarter. And
Richard Tambling, meantime, has kicked the goal.
And the conversations were obviously pretty positive, and they were convincing one another that he was right to go back out. But that was the first involvement. Favola laid the big chase, and Cousins had to stretch, and as soon as he did, it pinged, and the anguish and frustration and anger on his face was obvious. And gee, what a terrible. I mean, I think one of you just said before, everything that could go wrong for Richmond tonight has gone wrong. Well, that's the icing on the cake right there.
And they'll be putting ice on that hamstring now, Andy. And the worry is that there's every chance he won't play for the next month.
Oh, at least. Be a 4 or 5 week job at least.
And
of course it raises the question as to the reliability of his hamstrings for the future. It's a horrible outcome, and it's in keeping with everything that's happened on this bleak evening for Richmond at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It ends with the man around whom a season's hope was built, injured and under a cloud. Here's Betts for Carlton, stripped of it. Judd arrives. Here comes the Judd, and he places it well for Favola. Wiggins is thereabouts, so's Betts. Fev's still there. Cruiser. Tiger defence having a say in it as well. And eventually a ball up is forced.
Don't be surprised if Fev comes off before long. I think that as soon as Brett Ratton thinks he's got this game in the bag, he might just rest his full forward who's playing under difficulties.
That little glimpse of Judd there at full flight, picking up a half volley, it just reminded me him as absolute best. I mean, on the other side, Richmond's had a disaster. Carlton, everything that could go right has gone right.
Just how good are the Blues, Tim?
Come on, you two, cut it out. It's round one.
Keeping the lid on it. I don't think they've been seriously tested tonight, it has to be said.
Here's Hadley for Carlton. There's plenty of time to steady him from a really tight angle. Has kicked it out on the full.
Almost a forgotten player in their lineup, Richard Hadley. Only been able to play about 20 games in the last 4 years. We've seen when he's fit at Brisbane, he can be a very, very good midfielder. He's had 20 disposals tonight. If they could keep him sound, it's just another one to add to Murphy, Judd, all the elite midfielders they've got going around now. Bryce Gibbs, throw him into the mix as well.
Move on, Brett. Play on. Play on. Yours.
Mark taken by Newman. Goes into the middle. And it's Moore who goes out wide to McGuan. It's on centre wing.
That is just a shocking kick.
That's a push in the back against Brown.
Like McGuan's kick without any pressure on him, and he tumbles the ball wrong side over for a drop punt, and it's going to kill the coach.
Murphy. And his kick's good. It finds Cloak.
You know who's the most stressed group of people at this stadium at the moment? The Richmond medical staff. Because at three-quarter time, they rubbed him, they touched him, they stretched him, talking about Ben Cousins, and then they let him go back out.
Is it hard to understand when you're 60 points down, the game's completely shot? You've had a player come across who's a Brownlow medalist. Even if there was 0.5% of doubt why you put him out there?
Didn't make sense, Luke.
Cloak drives it deep. Picked up by Delidio. Handballs over to Schultz at half-back. He gives it to Newman. Not a lot on offer. And the kick smothered by Murphy. What a diabolical night for Richmond, but full credit to the Blues. They lead by nigh on 10 goals. Both teams have not played finals since 2001. Cruiser off to Houlihan. Again, he finds Cloak, who's played some valuable minutes, made a good contribution for his team. Cruiser. The two boys wax.
Just a question, Luke, with Cruiser. What percentage can he ruck this year? My worry is that as still a teenager, that he can really get knocked around if they keep him in the ruck too long.
Look, I think the beauty of him is that he can be a legitimate forward at this stage of his career, and the temptation would be, I reckon the smart plan would be to give him 60% of the time as a forward, 40% in the ruck, throw Cameron Cloak in there as a big body to contest, keep playing young Sam Jacobs, let him go in there and do some bullet work, because he can kick a goal. We saw him do that last year, and he's got another pre-season. He'll be fitter and stronger, and you need to keep him sound and look after him.
And of course, the Blues recruited Robert Warnock from Fremantle, and he's on the long-term injury list.
Here's the Richmond doctor just coming back out, explaining what might have happened. Ben Cousins.
He looks stressed
behind the left knee.
Oh, he's stressed. Don't worry about that.
Could be a goal to Russell.
They're all words you associate with one thing.
Usually, it's polite to play clean, but this challenge is all about getting down and dirty.
Who will survive Loser's Dirtiest Challenge? Tomorrow on 10. Friday.
Okay there?
A random murder is about to become a big-time conspiracy.
You need to tell the truth about what you saw.
A special double episode.
Arrest this man. What?
New Law and Order, 8:30 Friday.
Jordan Russell, I don't know that he's kicked a better goal than that in his career. Brendan Favola certainly improved. And peerless Peter Nastasi, the goal umpire, confirming that it was indeed a full pointer. Carlton taking the lead out beyond 10 goals.
Tell you another thing that will absolutely, just listen to the umpire say that there wasn't prior opportunity.
Straight back this way, guys.
Another thing that will absolutely delight Brett Ratton and his coaching staff is that they've kicked 20 goals and Favola's only kicked 2. It's exactly what they want.
It's a sad sight, isn't it? Halfway through the last quarter of this much hyped opening round game. Here's Simpson just pulling the kick off the instep, but Favola hadn't or was beaten to the ball by McGuan. Tambling on the lead. Scouting for Carlton, Russell, Johnson, Gibbs. All Carlton at the fall of this one. 2-on-1. Cloak, Russell. Confidence surging after that brilliant goal. Placing it into the 50. For Simpson, he'll have a couple against him. Kept his feet. Scotland drew the tacklers to him. Big fellow Jacobs with Simpson and Hadley, and now Houlihan, who's a very good kick, and he kicks beautifully to Betts, who surely will kick his 5th goal.
Very impressive pickup. Half volley by Cameron Cloak for a big man. Great agility.
Betts with 3 in the 3rd quarter, taking his tally for the night to 4. Richmond's president, Gary March, with a face that is lengthening by the minute. Betts for number 5 and for a 70-point lead. It is becoming cataclysmic for the Tigers, and they face the Cats next week.
Amy.
Oh, hello, Amy.
Oh, hi, Amy.
I've had an accident. I'm on the freeway. Big blackbirds.
They just sort of landed on me. They damaged my bag. Beady eyes.
I think they're attracted to my car.
Went into the back of me and he
I think they love my car.
Some things are hard to explain.
Global warming, exactly, yeah.
At Amy, you'll always speak to a real person.
Am I covered for something like that?
Lucky you're with Amy.
Crowd tonight, 86,972, which according to my calculations is the biggest home and away crowd in history between these two teams, eclipsing the 85,673 back in 1980. But half the crowd will be going home very disappointed as Carlton now lead by 70 points. Embarrassment tonight for the Richmond Football Club, but once again we shouldn't take anything away from the Blues. They've been superb. Everything is clicked.
Quarter's an interesting question now is as to whether Ben Cousins, as the media was assured he will hold a post-match press conference or attend the press conference under all these circumstances.
We'll wait and see. As Carlton surge again. No free kick to Judd for a chop. Schultz Now Rains arches the back. Goes up the middle. Finds Edwards, who kicks successfully. And the mark is taken by Delidio, who will go back and have a set shot from about 30 metres out at worst.
Still think he'll be pretty disappointed with his output tonight, Brett Delidio. This will be his 20th disposal. On the surface, it looks like he's contributed okay, but when the game was really there to be won, he didn't have much of an influence. We know he's going to get a lot more attention now after his year last year, but he's someone they need to play consistently well.
Right there, mate.
And that's a miss.
Rob, would you agree that it's felt as though there's something soulless about Richmond's performance? Is that just something we read into it when a team has a horror night?
Well, who inspires you from the Richmond players tonight? I'd say the two young fellas up forward, Rewalt and Morton. I think Foley's tried really hard. Beyond that, there's very little to get excited about. And, you know, when the tide turned against them, no one really stood up, and they were insipid with their tackling. They've been dreadful with their skills. They've missed goals that they should have kicked, and, you know, dropped marks early. And now the shining light, Ben Cousins, is off injured and probably won't play for quite a while.
One of the first gamers, Aaron Joseph, delivers coolly to Cloak, who comes inside to Bauer. He goes long. Gibbs is arriving for a crumb. So's Wiggins. Tiger defence covers. A throw. It'll be a Carlton free kick.
Favola's very ginger, Tim. He's really limping, favouring that heel now. I reckon we're wanting to rip him off.
Yeah, I think he might be coming off now, Quarters. He's had enough, and why not with 7 minutes to go? He's been terrific, and you're right, Luke. He's only kicked a couple of goals out of Carlton's 21, but his effort has been first-rate. The tackling pressure inside the Carlton forward 50 has been fantastic tonight.
Do you think Wiggins can kick this one, Rob?
I wouldn't bet on it.
He's made you look stupid. He's nailed it. And the Blues are 69 points in front. 75.
With the right tools and advice, relax and do it leisurely. Do it Stratco. Good Neighbour Fencing, just $95.95 a panel. 3-module Aqua Tank with bonus stand, $389. And Heritage Fencing from only $79 a metre. Do it leisurely. Do it Stratco. Do it now.
Autobarns has all your car needs. Look, 5-litre plastic fuel container, $4.99. Valvoline fuel injector and carby cleaner, just $1.99. You've got to go to Autobarns. They're number one for all your car stuff this Easter.
And a couple of happy boys there, Favola and Judd. You mentioned Wiggins has improved, and he's been at Carlton quite a while. Do you think a footballer can improve from the age of 28 on?
You don't tend to see a quantum improvement. I mean, look at Simon Wiggins at 26. I reckon he's a 20% better player now than he was 2 or 3 years ago. That middle part of your career, that's something that's hard to do. And I reckon most players at 27 or 28 have reached their prime, and it's not very few get better after that.
Carlton control the ball again. Cruiser handballs in the Murphy direction. Got a kind bounce. Can he finish off? That's another one.
Buy a computer nowadays and it can become obsolete in no time at all. And who's there to help if something goes wrong? But demand a better way at Radio Rentals. And not only can you upgrade to the latest technology after just 12 months, we'll also throw in 3 hours on site and 24/7 phone support with Dr. PC. So demand a better way at Radio Rentals today.
Three-quarter time, the Richmond huddle. Ben Cousins clearly worried by a hamstring early in the last quarter, as he staged perhaps his fullest throttle run of the evening. He went to ground, the hamstring had gone, he's out of the game, he's going to be out of a few games by the look of it, and Richmond's night had reached to that stage its lowest point, but it's arguable that it's since slumped further, because Carlton have stretched the lead to 81 points, and the Tigers just keep turning it over, giving away free kicks. This one to Richard Hadley. Captain Newman just about taking his head with him. Advantage called now. Good way of breaking up a fight. Houlihan has a target, and he doesn't miss targets. It's that man Wiggins who will line up for his third. Chris Newman captaining Richmond for the first time. Not his best moment there, the high tackle.
There's frustration that is from Skipper in his first game. He's trying to make some sort of a statement. Unfortunately, they're only 1 points down and we're 22 minutes into the last quarter.
Wiggins is hot now. Lining up for his third, 20 out, straight in front. Unmissable. He's missed it. He's almost missed the lot. Yes, yes, Rob. I'm eating my words.
2 goals, 3 to Simon Wiggins. And just to rub a bit more salt in the wound,
they cannot take a
put his foot over the line.
They cannot take a trick.
This is where the rush behind rule actually comes into play. In the past, it was pretty easy. This one bounced up on the top of the goal square. You'd always be able to rush it behind. Now this ball was seriously alive and just got his foot over the line there. So huge scoring opportunity now. In the past, this would have been really hard to score, but the way Carlton are going, he backed them in.
So down she goes, the top of the square, cloaked the tap.
A lot of Carlton supporters through the week, boys, were very, very annoyed with Nick Stevens.
Why?
Because he's not playing tonight due to suspension, and they just felt that he'd let them down. Well, obviously they haven't needed him as it turned out, but I just hope he's watching this game thinking, gee, I've missed out on a real special occasion.
He won't be playing next week either. Here's Richo, hemmed in the back pocket. Tuck, wrapped up by Wiggins. Deliberate yell of Carlton fans. The umpire says toss it in. There's Nick Stevens.
Andrew Carrazzo, best and fairest a couple of seasons ago, also out injured, and Carlton couldn't find a place for Andrew Walker or Brad Fisher, so there's some depth.
And that's what I liked about them picking these young fellas, Tim. The young fellas had done well in the pre-season in the NAB Cup, and they had the guts as a match committee to select them. And I think that's a statement for everyone at the club.
Free kick going to Simpson, who's only 20 metres out. This would make it 88 points.
Let's go, Dap. Let's go, mate.
Makes it 83. Blues wasting an opportunity to continue the burial of Richmond. How much has changed since the equivalent night last year when Richmond ran away from Carlton in the last quarter. There was never going to be a last quarter revival tonight. It was well and truly done for at three-quarter time. Umpire Vozzo to break them up here. Chris Johnson in a bit of a scrap. The fifth of Carlton's recruits, Chris Judd, the dream recruit last year, and it is starting to happen around Judd. Bowden works it forward for the Tigers, but out to the boundary for a throw-in. Paul Bauer, one of the unsung ones for the Blues, but he's become a pretty useful player in the back half, and the back half, which for a number of years had looked woefully undermanned, is starting to look capable of doing the job. Houlihan cleverly to Scotland. Neat kick with the left, but this time Schultz able to make the spoil on Cloak. White tambling, giving it back to White. Good breakaway speed. Clever kick if it was deliberate to Rains, but Carlton again overwhelming the Tigers, momentarily at least, and getting it back. Wiggins, Thornton now, sees daylight and carries it away. Always looks nicely balanced as Brett Thornton places it for Cruiser and Murphy. Murphy 2 goals in this final quarter. Sits this for Garlett. Thursfield with a big height advantage, normally takes key forwards. Now the 208-centimetre first gamer against the will-o'-the-wisp for Carlton, but the Tigers prevail, and Newman is able to poke it up to the wing.
Tim, I'm just going to break in here. This could be terrible news for Andrew Rains. He's got a problem with the left knee. Now I'm not quite sure which knee was the one that he had the problems with. The doctor came out, he waved him off straight away. This could be terrible, terrible news for Richmond.
as it continues to go from bad to worse for the Tigers. Collision there too, and there's another Tiger down and hurt. It's White. Rains still being carried off the ground here by a couple of trainers. Simpson for Carlton. White's okay, just winded. Mark taken by Gibbs, who pops it back into the middle. Bauer out wide to one of the first gamers in Joseph. His kick finds Judd. Oh, he's taken him on, shows a bit of acceleration, runs to 50. Judd, that's the point.
It's great to see him do that again, though.
Confident, isn't he? Yeah. He's confident in his body.
Here's Rains.
And the Tigers take the footy to the centre, but Edwards has swamped. Carlton winning the tests of strength tonight. Young team coming of age. Jacobs gives to Murphy. What sort of a week is it going to be at Punt Road? You think about some of the dark times in recent years, the truckload of chicken livers developed on the CEO's doorstep.
Was it chicken livers, Tim, or chicken something else?
Something like that. It was the infamous night when the coach was spat at.
Danny Frawley, yep.
How are the Tiger fans going to react to this?
Oh, they'll be savage because they've been built up to expect a lot better than what they've seen tonight. They will be savage.
84 points down with the night almost done, thankfully for them. Scotland only one there. It was Cloak who tried to go the spoil, but Schultz took the mark strongly and he kicks to Newman.
And the Richmond captain, quite sure what to do with it, goes inboard to Tambling. This is his 15th possession. As he goes for home, Richardson sitting in the goal square, and a beautiful spoil right at the death by Bauer. Gary March, the president. A long, long week at Tigerland.
Good effort by Bauer there, coming with the flight, not making illegal contact. Here's Jacobs, the tall first game ruckman. They call him Sauce because of the red hair.
I reckon he's been very serviceable tonight, Tim. He's 110 kilos, so he's not pushed off the footy easily. Not going to win a heap of the footy at that stage of his career, but he's competed really well. Got his hand on the footy in the hit-outs, and he might be one to persevere with, I think.
Jamison, spearing ball, but too much spear, too little carry. Siren sounds. Carlton win first up by 83 points. A great night for the Blues, the blackest of black ones for Richmond.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions. They like to say we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
Well, the Blues have smashed the Tigers to the tune of 83 points. One of the stars tonight was a first gamer, the boy from Tassie, Mitch Robinson, 13 disposals, 3 goals. He's with Andrew Marr.
Thanks very much, Quarters. Mitchie, how did it feel to run out in front of nearly 90,000 people for your first game?
I'll tell you what, I was blown away. It's a massive crowd, and I'd never expected to play in front of this a couple of years ago. So I was over the moon that the boys got up, and it was such a good win, and you know, we all came together at the right moment, and a good first quarter too.
When did you know you were going to be playing?
Monday. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if I was going to get picked because I missed a couple of weeks of my ankle. So when Rats told me, I just couldn't stop smiling. It's great.
There'll be a lot of people happy about this over in Tassie, and your mum and dad are here. Does it make it extra special to have them in the crowd tonight?
Well, I met with mum and dad, and they said I made them real proud. So that's, you know, I'm just so happy at the moment. You know, a big shout out to all the Tassie boys who want to play AFL. You know, just keep doing the hard work and they'll make it over here, I reckon.
It seems like a great vibe amongst the groups. 4 first gamers played tonight, your first game together. Did you spend any time with one another talking today or during the week about what lay in store for you?
Us 4 boys, we were pretty close, so it was just great to you know, get Rats show some good faith in all the youngsters, and you know, we had some big tasks. AJ is a great tagger and he's doing his work, and Jeffrey Garlett's amazing with the footy, and so It was great to share it with Aaron Joseph, you know, Tassie Boy too, so it was real good.
Well, I know you're itching to go over and be with him, so off you go. Well done.
Yes, thanks, mate. Thank you.
Back to you, mate.
Brought a tear to Tim Lane's eye, that interview did, Rob.
Yes, and this side here will bring a tear to a few Tiger fans' eyes, and that's pretty devastating and disappointing, isn't it, that Ben Cousins has torn the hamstring, and the medical staff gambled with him by sending him out in that fourth quarter. First time he got it and accelerated, it went, and gee, not much went right for Richmond. The two kids up forward, Rewalt, Morton, they were pretty good, Luke, but beyond that, you know, Foley tried hard. Chris Newman always tries hard, but to be smashed like that in the opening game, this is going to take a bit of getting back.
A break from the MCG. It's the Blues celebrating. 83 points the margin.
Saturday, it's a massive live doubleheader. Kicking off at 1:30, Adelaide is out for revenge when they tackle Collingwood. Then, the next chapter in a growing rivalry as St Kilda meets Sydney live 6:30 Saturday.
Just when you thought the Red Rooster Ripper Sub couldn't get any better, we've added 2 new flavours. Choose from the classic, the new chili and garlic aioli, or the new smoky barbecue. Whichever one you pick, it'll be a ripper.
To celebrate the opening of our brand new store at Gawler, all 8 Dreamland stores are offering fantastic sleep deals. Save 40% on this Adriatic ensemble and check our low prices on our entire range of Adriatic Cairo beds. We've got great deals on the new Sealy Posturepedic range of beds, and don't forget, we won't be beaten on any Sealy price. And if anyone tells you they have better deals or service than Dreamland, you know what to tell them. Tell them they're dreaming. Dreamland.
A list of numbers that's predicted every global disaster for the past 50 years holds a warning of what is to come.
Are we gonna die?
I will never let that happen. Knowing, now showing.
Early Settlers Autumn Price Fall Catalogue. Classic beds, canopy beds, queen beds, glamorous sofas, comfy sofas, family sofas, end of season outdoor furniture. Everything's great value, bargains galore. Early Settlers Autumn Price Fall Catalogue closes soon.
For an AFL player, it's estimated that an average 2 litres of fluid has been lost. The players will keep sweating as they cool down, so will need to keep taking in fluids, such as Powerade Isotonic, to fully rehydrate.
Hold the ball! Oh, come on, umpire, for crying out loud, he hardly touched him. How can you call that in the back? That is an absolute joke, umpire, and you know it. You're off your dial, mate. What, 50 metres?
Sign up for Australia's richest footy tipping competition and you can share in $1 million cash.